Hey, it's Steve, and I have a quick comic book recommendation. The comic is Fantastic Four Unstable Molecules. Unstable Molecules is the most interesting Fantastic Four reinterpretation I've seen. It's not a superhero comic at all, but it is the Fantastic Four. The book is written by James Sturm and drawn primarily by Guy Davis. It's only 4 issues and is shockingly underdiscussed. The comic is about the Fantastic Four: Reed Richards, Ben Grimm, Sue, and Johnny Storm, except they're just normal people living in 1958. No superpowers, no costumes, just people. Reed is a scientist developing textiles, Ben Grimm is a boxing coach, Johnny is a 15-year-old hothead, and Sue's his sister has been forced to be his mother figure. They're just guys. The art is great. It's more reminiscent to an independent graphic novel like Eisner's 70s work or something like Sabrina, more than a book that's published by Marvel. This was also published in a really cool time at Marvel between the beginning of Marvel Knights and being sold to Disney, where Marvel was actually cool and published Ecstatics, Fury, Alias, New X-Men, Punisher Max. This is probably the only era where Marvel would have accepted a project like this. It all takes place over 24 hours, and it's an incredible story. It's called Unstable Molecules because all these characters are unstable, broken, petty, blunt people. Reed is too devoted to his work to pay attention to his family. Johnny's a hormonal teenager. Ben has a complicated relationship with his wife because of his harmful habits, and Sue is probably the most interesting character in the book. It's explained in the back pages that her and Johnny's parents died in a car crash when she was 19 and Johnny was 8, basically forcing her to raise Johnny like a son. Along with her place in her local community and her relationship with Reed, she feels invisible. Get it? The comic kind of bluntly uses their famous powers as metaphor. Ben is too thick to pay attention to anyone around him. Johnny's a destructive hothead, stuff like that. The comic's whole meta story is that these people are who inspired the Fantastic Four in reality. Reed is supposedly a well-known scientist, and the early Marvel Comics staff, including Kirby and Lee, knew the family. They even show up in the book after being invited to the climactic party in the 4th issue. The idea is that James Sturm is related to Sue and Johnny Storm. Not named Storm in the book, but instead Sturm. Some of these back pages that include annotations from fictional books about the Four in the comic, along with the side characters. This is the real Mole Man. Almost everyone is an analog in some way. That's part of the fun, is figuring out who's who. Johnny's best friend Mantelman is explicitly the Mole Man. The house everything takes place in is the Baxter Building, of course. The beatnik Joey King, I'm pretty sure, is Dr. Doom, though given his attraction to Sue and black hair, he could be Namor. He's also by the beach when we first meet him, so it either or, basically. It also doesn't matter because these aren't the heroes and villains we know. They're still the same characters on their base level, but they're just broken, unstable, petty people. Johnny is an angry, attention-seeking kid taking his anger out in the world. Reed is emotionally distant from everyone who loves him to the point of ignorance. Ben is a shameless adulterer, and Sue is caught in the middle of everything. My favorite part of the book is in issue 2. Issue 2 is also probably my favorite issue as well. It mainly focuses on Sue Storm and her frustrating life having to raise Johnny and having to deal with Reed's stuff. There's a scene on the final page where Sue prepares a party and freaks out from all the pressure of the day. It is told in 4 panels, with 3 panels from the recurring fake comic Vapor Girl as that character is escaping her torture. It's a very heartbreaking scene and just shows how beaten down Sue has become as a character. It does portray a real pain. It's something small. It's something simple like the feeling of people not showing up to a party, but it's seen in this very action-filled, important comic book way because it's like destroying Sue, basically. What if no one shows up? What if? Get it? Do you get it? The whole story climaxes at a party for Reed's colleagues, and then the early Marvel Comics staff comes in, and then the beatniks show up, and some other fun, marvelous stuff happens that I will not spoil, because I think you should give this book a read. That's the whole point of this video. But what I said about issue 2 showing something so small being such an emotional issue is kind of what the book is all about. To quote the ending lines of the book, these unstable molecules can thus only be studied in terms of their relationships with one another, not as isolated units. It is these relationships, however tenuous and mercurial they may be, that bind our world together. The point of the book, more or less, in using the most famous family in comics is that these small incidents and dramas are just as important to these people as stopping Dr. Doom from destroying the world, because these are what hold our lives together. These are what hold these characters' lives together. It's a good book. I like the book. The comic has unfortunately been out of print for a while, but it's on Marvel Unlimited, the app. Of course, you can pirate it as well. It is fun to read this pre-series book on RCO, and they include all the little stupid ads and stuff. I mean, it is a serious, depressing book at times, but also it does balance its comedy well. It's not a big depressing monster of a book. I learned about it from the recent Strange Brain Parts video, and when I heard the words Jim Jarmusch Fantastic Four story, I immediately read through it. It's not long, only about 96 pages. It's like 90 minutes, pretty much. That's how long it would take to read it. It's a great comic. I don't see anyone talk about it, unfortunately. I hadn't heard about it until this week, pretty much. There's a lot of incredible books out there that should be in print and be considered modern classics, but they just aren't. So that's why I wanted to make this video, just to let people know about this book, because it's good. If you want to know why I'd rate it, probably a 9 out of 10, but that doesn't matter. It's a great book. That's all I gotta say.
Look what the marketing guys did. Look, check it out. Listen. You love this.
It's clobbering time!
It's catchy, right? Isn't that great? Oh, that was the prototype!
Where are we getting the unstable molecule skins added to Marvel Rivals? Come on, guys.